Let's get into our first segment of the week. There was a poll put out to see who the top 25 colleges would be. We took notice that Oregon State was ranked much higher than Oregon. We called it into question, at which point Oregon State fans decided to really let us know how they felt about their team. And boy, oh boy, are the Beavers fans passionate. So it leads us into our first segment in discussion. Who do you think is going to have the better record this year, B? Is it going to be Oregon or is it going to be Oregon State? Beavers or Ducks? Green or orange? What are you going with?
Give me Oregon, man. Give me Oregon.
Beavers fans are at your door right
now. Which I love that. That's what makes college football and sports so awesome. Like the passionate fan base, which is awesome. But please just spare me though. Okay. So I can take you through some high level findings and stats and whatnot about just like the Oregon team in general here. So start with last season, 2022. They finished 10-3 overall, 7-2 in the Pac-12. Their offense last season was high powered, and I expect that to be the same this season. Last season they were ranked 6th in total offense. Last year they were 10th in scoring offense. They were number 1 in sacks allowed, which I'm guessing that means they did not allow sacks. I was trying to think about, if you're number 1 in sacks allowed, are you the worst or the best? But my small brain was working. Like, if you had the best offense, you probably weren't allowing sacks. I'm like, okay, that makes sense.
1+2.
Yeah, I was like, okay. It's a weird way to put it, but they also, but at the same time, they lost some of their starters on the O-line, so we have to figure out the new talent there. Also, of course, they're led by the Heisman hopeful Bo Nix, and again, we had a Bo Nix video. What was it, like a month ago now? This guy going over film and highlights. Yeah, go ahead, watch out. We could probably plug that video in this one too. Just to give you guys some numbers about Bo Nix. In 2022, he threw for, let's call it 3,600 yards and threw for 29 tutties. He ran for 500 yards and ran for 17 touchdowns. So this dude was just scoring touchdowns all over the place. They also have a tight end who is a first round upside. His name is Troy Franklin. He caught, let's call it 900 receiving yards last year with 9 touchdowns.
Is he a tight end? Was that? Is he a tight end? I thought he was a receiver.
I have here as tight end, so I'm gonna go with tight end, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. I thought I saw some highlights. I thought they had him like listed at receiver. Maybe they're just lining him up at the X.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but he's a first round hopeful next year, so I'm guessing he's gonna be getting good amount of targets this season. I guess last season though, their defense gave him some problems. I think that was the weak spot of the team. Yeah. They should have played better given their talent. They had a whopping 1.39 sacks per game. So I think, Emmett, you can go out there right now and do better than that right now. They also allowed. I think you need to go out there and show them how it's done. You can at least average 2. And then they allow teams to convert 46% of their third downs because of that lack of pass rush. And that defense, even though it was kind of lackluster with the pass rush, they also had a good amount of talent that they lost. They lost first-round pick cornerback Christian Gonzalez. They also lost linebacker Noah Sewell. He now plays for my Bears. But top right. I hate the Bears. Don't worry. Sometimes I hate them too. The top transfer coming in was defensive end Jordan Birch from South Carolina. Coming out of high school, he was the 17th best prospect in the 2020 class, according to 247 Sports. So high profile guy. I guess he had a decent career at South Carolina. He played like 3 seasons there. I guess he just needed a change of scenery, so found Oregon. And then the top transfer leaving Oregon, though, was former high prospect. He was 11th best prospect in the 2020 class. His name was Justin Flo. He played linebacker for them. He went to Arizona. So still staying within the conference, but maybe just needed a change of scenery there. And to wrap up this long monologue on Oregon, I went to FanDuel because I love the gamble and I want to see what the odds are, what their win line total was, stuff like that. The win total line for Oregon is 9.5 wins, and they are currently the second favorite to win the Pac-12.
All right, let me tell you what that whole block of stuff you just said is nonsense and does not apply to these Beavers. Well, how many points did the Ducks put up last year against the Beavers? How much was it? Did
100,
you get all that? What?
100, 150.
It was 14. And you know how much the Beavers put up? 17. It means the Beavers won.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's all that matters. No, I'm just kidding.
I thought you were going to say like 40.
No, 14.
Okay,
The
that makes sense.
14 only. No, I guess there's a whole lot of shooting the foot going on for the Ducks last year.
That's funny.
Oregon State has won 2 of the last 3 matchups against Oregon from what was yelled at me before. And Oregon State is returning 78% of their offensive stars, and they did have one of the top offenses in the country last year. And that was often mostly running the ball. I mean, their lead back, I think, like 980-something yards rushing, and their lead receiver only had 600 yards, give or take. DJ Umangale, who's coming in as a transfer from Clemson, should take that Beaver offense to an absolute new level. And if you notice I'm going to say Beaver a lot, it's because I kind of like saying the word Beaver, and I didn't realize that until this segment. So love me some Beaver. Num, 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 num. Love munching on me some Beaver.
Not nom. Hilarious.
Oregon State, also, we're just looking at season matchups and if we're taking it like, how's the record going to play out? Oregon State actually has the easier record this year, or the easier schedule this year. They only play 3 ranked teams in the AP preseason poll. Obviously, the poll changes throughout the year. They play 14 Utah, 10 Washington, and 15th ranked Oregon, versus Oregon, who has to play 4 ranked teams: Utah, Washington, as well as 18th ranked Oregon State Beavers. And they have to play the USC Trojans, who are ranked, I believe they were 6th. So Oregon has a bigger opportunity to slip and fall a little bit here, which could lead Oregon State to having a leg up going into their end of the season matchup, which I think is it's the final week of the season. So I don't know. I feel kind of, as we kind of do a little bit of a research into Oregon State, I do have some confidence in my Beavers to sit here and beat up on your Ducks. Your mighty Ducks. I don't know why I'm becoming anime cartoons for this one, but either way, I don't know. Like I said, I feel like if we're going off of record wise, I think Oregon State, because Oregon State went 10-3 last year as well.
Mm-hmm.
So they actually, I believe, tied the Ducks in season record with the head to head going to the Beavers. So I don't know. I feel like they're not getting as much credit. I didn't realize how much they were showing up on polls. Like I started going back again for this segment, researching, well, how did other AP polls rank them? How did ESPN's poll rank them? And in all the polls, they weren't ranked. They weren't ranked 20th. They were usually somewhere in that 15 to 18 range. So it tells you starting out there is a little bit of an expectation, a little bit of a hype around them to where they could make some noise in the Pac-12 in the final year of the Pac-12's existence. Which, just sidebar, how sad is it that in the final year of the Pac-12 they have so many good, talented teams? You got Washington, Oregon, Oregon State, USC, UCLA, and then they're going to dismantle the whole thing.
Yeah, they're like, see ya. You have all this talent. You're making lots of money this year, but yeah, see ya.
Yeah, I know. Fuck, dude, that sucks. I know. I just don't think it's going to go as easily as I think a lot of Duck fans have expected. And again, as far as passionate as the Beaver fans are, the Ducks fans were just equally in the comments going head to head with the Beavers. Ducks apparently do not like Beavers. Yeah.
Ducks and Beavers do not get along. They don't nom on that Beaver. But let me bring up one point here. Yeah, the reason why I also like Oregon more than Oregon State is because of the quarterback. DJU had a decently mid-career so far. I'm sorry. I did say DJU because I'm not going to attempt to say that last name. Already embarrassed myself already. Not going to try it. I did watch an old Dabo Sweeney interview on First Take, and he said DJ likes the nickname DJU, so I'm going with that, people. Okay.
Right. That's fair.
It's hard for me to trust him right now, but as you said, the Oregon State Beavers are returning 70% of their starters, which includes like 4 starters on
Yeah.
their O line. So I'm guessing like if DJU does struggle, they're going to run the ball again. They ran the ball just as for many yards as they threw it last season. And to your point, they went 10-3 overall, and then 6-3 in the Pac-12, which is a little bit worse than Oregon. They went 7-2 in the Pac-12 last season. But that's really was my one hiccup about Oregon State. It was like if you're comparing, you go as far as you're like quarterback, you have a Heisman hopeful on one team, and then a guy trying to revive his college career here and get something going. But hey, he was number 2 overall prospect in the class of 2020 for a reason. So the talent's there. It has to come out.
And I think he's going to be a little bit better of a situation here because it's less of a spotlight than he's had at Clemson. I mean, as this is just the truth about it, Oregon State does not get as much media attention as Clemson does. When's the last time you heard anything about DJU since he left Clemson? So I think it's going to be a great opportunity for him to get a breather. It's going to be less stress on him. He doesn't need to be the superstar. He doesn't have national championship expectations around him. He's not surrounded by 5-star prospects with this guy does not ever stop talking. Debo Sweeney.
Swine flu.
Yeah, I know. Whatever his name is, behind him talking all the time. So it would be a great opportunity for him to kind of get a fresh start. There won't be attention on him. And he's going to have a strong run game that the Beavers had last year. He's still going to have that strong run game to lean on. So it would be a lot easier of play action look, rolling him out, getting him out of the pocket, using his mobility to their advantage. They can still run the read option with him. And I think he's one of those guys that the more he starts running the ball, the much more comfortable he feels to throw. So he won't have any star talent at receiver that he normally does he did at Clemson, but he still has decent receivers there, and he has a much more balanced offense, I feel like, to rely on. So it might even play to his strengths a little bit more.
And if you are a gambling person like me, if you like Oregon State right now, you're in a good spot to bet on them. Their win total is at 8.5 games. So bet that over if you like Oregon State. Yeah, so it's pretty close to Oregon.
Free money. I mean, because I was looking at the schedule. The first half of their schedule is pretty much against the Mountain West. I think they play like San Diego State, San Jose. Oh my gosh, UC Davis. They play UC freaking Davis, which is an FCS school. So I mean, that's 8 wins. It feels like a gimme for them.
Right.
So
right, and for the conference, they have the 6th best odds to win the conference, to win the Pac-12. Yeah. So again, if you're super high on them, go ahead, throw that pick out there or throw that bet out there, and it could be a good sleeper pick for you.
Yeah. So why don't you guys leave a comment and tell us who you think is going to win? Will it be B's Oregon Ducks or my Oregon State Beavers and their damn building abilities? Tell us in the comment section who you think is going to win. Like, subscribe,